Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of 20 to Midnight, the D&D stream where the players have to race against the clock if they want to save the world. My name is Gabriel Urbina. I am the designated dungeon master for this band of adventurers.
And my name is Beth Eyre. I play Helena Hailstorm, a human fighter from the Veldran Empire, and I am coming to you from London town.
And I am Emma Sherr-Ziarko, and I am playing Cal, who is a tiefling sorcerer from Bas Saranath. And I come to you from Santa Fe, New Mexico, the land of enchantment.
And my name is Mike Schubert. I'll be playing Satus and Kurtum, who's a human bard from Kelmoltron, and I'm coming to you from Utah this time. Where in the world is Mike Schubert is back?
I'm back!
I'm in Utah, the land of bees.
Ooh.
Which is great. We love bees.
Save the bees.
Yeah.
Well, right then.
If I can just briefly have an aside before we get going, all of my stepbrothers, I don't think my stepsister does, but all my stepbrothers are beekeepers, and I got to see one of their hives last week, and they were doing, I forget the term, but there was just like so many bees on this hive. We were like, is that light part? Is that the bees? And he's like, no, it's everything
it's
else.
all.
And I was like,
Wow.
whoa. And I got to eat some delicious honey. So
Terrific.
yay bees. Yeah.
I did not know that Utah was bee capital USA.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It's the beehive state,
Oh.
which I have known from visiting, and they recently changed their flag from like one of those whack old school English looking ones to like a modern cool looking one, and it's got a beehive in the middle.
Well, all right then. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
The more you learn.
The more you learn. It's no land of enchantment, though.
I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
knowledge. Yay.
Huzzah!
But yeah, speaking of knowledge and power and amazing feats of wonder and adventure, let's get back into our game. Thank you all for bearing with us last week as we ran into a little bit of tech issues, but we're happy to have the whole band together, and we're happy that we waited for Beth to be able to be with us as we plow into the meat of this little arc.
Yes, thank you for bearing with.
So,
Of
yeah,
course.
last time around, you guys had quite a little bit of running around the city of Seldoran as you were figuring out kind of like different bits and bobs as you sort of bounce from place to place. You visited sort of the local priests at the Halls of Revelation to sort of follow up on some cryptic, kind of divinely inspired dreams that your character was having, Mike. And there, you bumped into, of all people, the kind of harried accountant that Cal had saved the previous day, Endor Henslow, who you now realize is an accountant in the employ of House Selig, the house that you suspect has kind of been taken over by the interests of the Solinese Navy in their attempt to do whatever nefarious thing they are doing here. You kind of had a conversation with the local expert in all things dream interpretation, dream archivist Darren Malgren. And he kind of gave you a little bit of information, Satus, and sort of told you that it seems that you have some kind of connection to the Maven, the goddess of knowledge and civilization, learning, those kinds of things. He was particularly taken in also by your situation, Cal, as you kind of mentioned the strange, violent dreams that you've been having. And he suggested that your soul might have been touched by one of the more violent gods in the setting. He suspected that you might be someone that is under some amount of influence by the touch of either the Serpent King, the changing face. Sorry, what was that?
I've got it written down
All
if
right.
you need.
Go for it. Yeah.
It's the Viper King,
Uh-huh.
I think is what you said last time. Though some interpret it as Serpent King, obviously.
Apologies. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Dark Denizen.
The Dark Denizen. Yes.
Or the Changing Face.
There we are.
Yeah. So
So often, like, you know, like I do kind of like a lot of prep going into a new session, and then I have to quote something from the previous session, and I'm kind of like, what the heck did I even say last time? Oh my god.
You keep so much in your brain.
Yeah.
It's astounding. So
I actually have a correction for that at the end of the recap of the sort, but we'll get to it in just
great.
a moment.
Okay, great.
So
Fantastic.
you
Actually, it's the nice god.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so you left there. You sort of rendezvoused with Enslow, with Endor Henslow, and sort of got a little bit to talking to him, got to sort of find out a little bit of his perspective on things, and you discovered that he definitely thinks that there is something fishy going on with House Selig, that there is kind of a lot of money that has been coming in, and he doesn't know what is accounting for it, that they have kind of a lot of sort of now like interests outside of the city and even outside of the country that they're not kind of explaining to him. He thinks that they have kind of like different holdings that he doesn't know about, like those kinds of things. And he just kind of basically went like, I honestly think that the best thing that could happen for it would be if somebody were to rob them ahead of this auction. And so they wouldn't have money to participate in the auction, but the bank, the Tower of Coin, where they sort of have their vault, that ensures any losses. So it's not like these people would be left out in the street. It is just one of those, like, very clearly whatever outside powers have some kind of thumb over them would be hurt if they were not able to participate in this auction. So he kind of goes like, it would actually be really great if somebody were to clean out their vault. And while he cannot offer, or claims that he can't offer more information than that, he did spot you guys 1,000 gold, which is the minimum to open an account that has access to one of the fancy vaults in the Tower of Coin. So you now kind of have that in your back pocket. After that, you had received a strange invitation to a carnival that was in town, which you ultimately did decide to attend after getting kind of fancy and gussied up in a quick visit to Maeve.
Oh, yeah.
You went there and discovered that your seats were box seats, very fancy, and halfway through the proceedings were joined by the person that had sent you those box seats, the Solinese Admiral, who had kidnapped your dragons and who you had that fateful encounter with in the high seas. And she kind of did a little bit of posturing and a little bit of telling you guys, get out of here, stop interfering with my plans. This is me asking nicely. You don't want to see what happens when I start asking not nicely. I know that you don't believe me, but, like, trust me, I know what I'm doing. All right, I said my piece. Goodbye. And after that, you guys talked to some of the people that were involved in the circus that you went to see. And you were particularly drawn towards a superstar acrobat called Sanya, who is an Eyre genasi. And you spoke a little bit to her, and after seeing sort of her relationship with her abusive director, really kind of every performer's relationship with kind of what seems to be like a very egocentric abusive director, you were not surprised when the moment that you guys were like, would you be open to a different line of work? She was immediately like, yes, whatever you're doing, let's go, let's do it. I am on board. Whatever you're doing, let's do it. Let's go. When are we talking about this? And I think that that's where we left it the last time. The one correction that I did have, and this was one of those things that I was re-listening to old episodes, and I realized that I accidentally first got something right and then got it wrong as I read the wrong set of notes in my notebook, was that the loot that is going to be on auction is called the Sunset Loot. I originally said that, and that is correct. Then I read an earlier draft on my notes last time and called it the Loot of Epochs, which is wrong. It is the Sunset Loot. Sunset Loot, Sunset Loot, Sunset Loot.
Great.
It's a nice name.
That is what it is called.
It's a nice
much better
name.
name, yes. I was just
Than the Loot of Epochs.
Yes, no, that is far too melodramatic for this stream.
Yeah.
Don't be silly.
Yes, we would never.
Yes. And so I think that as we begin a new session, it's kind of one of those, like, we fade in and it is the next day, it's the middle of the morning, you are all gathered at sort of like the little cafe / restaurant section of the inn when you are, unless you want to do something, Emma.
Well, I had a quick question because I did remember as I was looking through my notes that Darren Malgren gave me some starless tea, I believe, is what I have written down here.
Yes.
And he said if I drank it and I didn't have dreams, I was in good shape.
Yeah.
But if I drank it and I still had the dreams, it was probably not so great.
Okay.
If I recall. So I think Cal did drink the tea before resting last night.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do dream stuff. Let's do that.
Yeah. Let's do some quick.
Let's start with dream shit.
Yeah.
Let me see. Where are you? Roll me just a d20, Cal.
Just a d20. Ooh, 19.
Ooh.
You take it and you have a more restful night. Like it's kind of one of those you feel like maybe you had strange, violent, dark dreams for maybe half of the night. But they're not completely gone. It is not sort of the clean, pristine, dreamless, restful, deep sleep that you were promised.
Great.
Still some kind of dark bodies, burning buildings, still some of that stuff that you have gotten used to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yep. Satus, you find yourself back in sort of that long hallway of books with blank spines down the long hallway, and they sort of book on a pedestal, open, blank pages in front of it. You are sort of back here.
What was I asking the book last time? I wanted to ask it something more specific this time. Let's see. I don't recall does anyone remember what I asked it last time and it was vague? I think I don't either. I feel like I was just asking it and it kept telling me the name of the place that we ended up going to.
I think that you asked it something along the lines of who am I speaking to or something like that.
Okay. Right. Okay. Let's see. And do you recall what the answer to who am I speaking to was?
It showed you an image of the Halls of Revelation.
Okay.
That's right.
The Halls of Revelation. Okay. I'll ask the book, what should I do?
Ooh, that's a good question. A page in the blank book in front of you flips over, revealing another blank page in what you perhaps intuitively grasp is some version of, can you be a little bit more specific?
Okay. Let's see. Should we take the loot?
So the phrase that way, the page flips another page flips over, now revealing a page that is out of the deepest part of Jack Torrance's breakdown in The Shining, that just has no, just scrawled on it in different sizes, different fonts, completely misaligned, some of them upside down. And then another page flips over, revealing another blank page.
Let's see.
And remember, the phrasing there was, should we take the loot?
Yeah, okay. Should we use the loot?
The page turns, and now you just sort of see just very neatly written in very neat handwriting that takes up the whole 2-page spread. Yes. And then the page turns again, revealing another blank page.
Okay. Okay, so we don't
This is like 20 questions.
I know, I
Yes,
like
really
it.
good.
Is it bigger than a bread box?
Yes, it is a loot.
Bigger than a bread box.
Yeah.
Is that a standard question?
It is a
And-
standard question, I
In
think.
20 questions, yes.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the people that are experts of this game have kind of determined
Yeah, that a
that
bread
will.
box.
If you're trying to optimize your 20 questions game, you want to suss out bigger or smaller than a bread box as soon
What's
as
a bread
possible.
box?
I don't know.
A box
a-
for bread.
It's a box
Uh-huh.
for bread, but it can come in different sizes.
It's
So
a very
it's
variable
great.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked to the guy in the museum about the sunset loot. Like, what do we know about the sunset loot in terms of its abilities, or do we only know that it's like fancy and desirable, and I like saw it in dreams?
You kind of only know that it's fancy and desirable and that you saw it in dreams.
Okay.
You have not actually asked anyone that would know
Okay.
about powers or abilities that it has. You just kind of... Dreams like this one pointed you to the House of Inspired Minds, and
Right.
then the 2nd that you saw it, you were like, whatever that
right.
like sword and armor are to Helena, that is to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I will ask the book, what does the loot do?
Okay. So the book slams shut, but instantly there's this whoosh, and like all around you writing appears on a lot of the on like basically like the books on all sides of you now all sort of have writing on like the spine, and they are the names of different people.
I will look up, I'll walk up to the books, and Satus will see if he recognizes the names of any of these people.
Good lord, roll me a history check. That's a good
Okay.
question.
So that is a 5 plus 8 for a 13.
Nope, none of these names are familiar to
Okay.
you.
Okay. So it made all of made all of the names show up. Okay. Does the so maybe it like spreads information of sorts. Okay. I'll ask. It's another blank page on the book.
No, the book is now closed.
Oh, it's closed. Okay. Then I think Satus would walk up and just like try to grab one of the books that now has a name on it.
Yeah. And you sort of like 1 second of like paging through it reveals that it is an account of an Aldoran knight, one of the Cavaliers of Aldoran, who sort of was chosen at an exceptionally young age to become a dragon rider in the kingdom of Aldoran, and sort of was at the time a somewhat divisive choice because he sort of was chosen over this guy that was like the clear favorite and was this experienced lancer and swordman, and this guy was sort of someone that was a very talented bard and someone that was very kind of talented in their craft, but not what someone would think of as a knight. But this guy was a very, very sort of, just kind of like rose to the occasion and proved a lot of people wrong, and sort of, ended up like being someone that rather than kind of dealing with a lot of the problems that Aldoran had by killing a bunch of people, diffused a lot of situations and kind of became like known as this like peacekeeper. And he was very famous for the weapon that he wielded was the Sunset Lute, which was a lute that kind of empowered him to have influence over people, as well as gave him sort of other magical abilities. So he was kind of a like very famous like peacekeeping cavalier and knight of Aldoran.
Okay.
And I think as Satus starts to have that like, okay thought, you wake up.
Alrighty.
Helena, you dream and find yourself back in a dense field of snow, a blizzard around you. And you see the familiar figure of a gigantic white direwolf kind of moving around you in the blizzard.
Oh, wow.
What does one do?
I'm going to see if I can move towards the direwolf.
As you sort of like try to move towards it, the wind of the blizzard kind of like picks up. And like you could like really force it, but like it seems to like be fighting any kind of like movement towards the direwolf.
Okay. I'm going to ask it, what should we do?
You hear sort of this like low booming growl of a voice as it says, "You are Cavalier. You are a knight. You have your weapon. Where is your mount? You are my Cavalier. What are you doing?" And then you'll hear the snap of jaws.
Is it coming towards me there?
No.
It's just gnashing its jaws. Okay. You mean the dragons, yeah?
You wake up.
Shall we all meet and discuss our dreams?
I think so.
The next morning,
Yeah.
over breakfast at the little cafe
Yeah.
where you that is located outside of the inn that you are staying at. As the waiter drops off a fresh plate of toast and refills your carva juice and brings a fresh pot of tea to the table. There you all are.
So I have good news and bad news.
Okay.
And they're the same news.
Okay.
I drank the tea
Mhm.
and I had less bad dreams, but I still had bad dreams.
Okay.
Okay,
So
interesting.
it helped, but it reveals that things are not PG keen.
Yeah. Which, quite frankly, I suspected they weren't. But I feel a lot better today than I've felt in a while. Much better rested than I have in a long time.
Well, that's an improvement, and at least you know for sure that something is wrong. Better than the unknown, I guess?
Yeah, it's like, getting a diagnosis.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Anyway.
still love you, regardless of what strange being you might be. I don't know. I don't really understand it, but
Thank you. I don't really either, to be perfectly honest. But that means a lot.
of course,
Because-
Cal.
Because I'm worried that it's a very bad god.
Okay.
Folks, I'm going to stop us just for one moment, just because
Okay.
OBS, the system that we use to stream this, just gave me an alert that something has
Oh,
gone
it
on.
looks like
yeah,
we
the
are
stream
not.
just went down.
Huh.
Fascinating.
And we're back.
All right.
Oh, we do appear to be back now.
Yeah. Well, that was fun.
Yes, sorry, folks. Don't know what was going on there. We blipped out for a moment there. Apologies.
The power of your storytelling.
Nah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. But anyway, not sure exactly when it blipped out, but basically, Cal is not totally feeling great, but is very touched to have her friends' support, regardless of what happens.
Of
Or
course.
at least regardless of who's controlling her.
Sure.
Or not controlling her, giving her power.
Empowering her, yeah.
Hopefully,
Empowering her, if you will.
hopefully we will figure it all out soon. I had a dream that was pretty helpful in terms of figuring out what's up with the loot. I learned from one of these magical books that this loot apparently belonged to someone who was an Aldoran cavalier and then king, and it seems like he used the loot for good. So it seems like at least this thing that I'm being drawn to is a nice thing. So we'll take that.
That doesn't
Awesome.
surprise me. You're very nice.
No, I do what I can. But you're nice too, so it's not fair that
Oh,
you have evil, scary death dreams and mine are like, haha, a fun little instrument.
Well,
Um,
One key thing that might be very pertinent is that the book that gives me this information in these dreams said we should use the loot, but we should not take the loot.
Mike, roll me a quick
right.
insight check there.
sure.
Just to
Cool.
see if Satus might kind of glean something here.
It's a 12.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where some part of your brain wonders how literal whatever you were talking to took that question versus
Okay.
how like interpretive, because it's one of those things where it might kind of be like taking something versus buying something might be a difference.
Okay.
Like, you know, like it might not be the sort of thing that is like, I want you to leave it where it is, but it was just like, when you sort of phrased it as like, should my next move be to grab this thing? It was like,
Gotcha.
emphatic no, that is not the
Okay.
correct path.
Cool.
Just to kind of make sure that Satus does not follow one train of logic too far down the road. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool.
Great,
Okay.
interesting. So we need to find a way to get it. We're not going to plow in and steal it from the very heavily guarded space right the second. Tempting as that is.
Tempting as it is.
Well, you know, I just want to take action after what happened yesterday. It's all very annoying, and also
I know.
she
I
read my
hate-
mind, and I feel bad for you all, and I want to do something about it. And
Yeah.
also, I had a dream where my direwolfy friend came back, which is a little bit different.
Okay.
Oh, that's fun.
Well, is it?
Helena, as you say those words, the armor around you and the sword that you are carrying both grow colder, almost to the point of being like ever so slightly painful to touch, and then it backs off, almost as though whatever being gave those to you perhaps objects to being referred to as a direwolfy friend.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You
So,
okay?
yeah, I think they're mad at me. Okay.
Oh, lighten up.
I wouldn't-
Crosswalker.
Don't anger it.
Okay, sorry. Sorry.
I think it is not happy that we still don't have our dragons. I know none of us are happy about that, but
Yeah.
I think it would be great if we could do. I feel bad for them.
I think that should be our first object. Not that we can't do two things at once,
Maybe.
but I think getting the dragons back might be cool to do first.
All right.
Did we get, when we went to Maeve's, weren't we looking for a scroll to undo that
Yep.
alarm spell? Did we
we
buy
did.
that?
We did.
We bought that from her
You got it on credit
on credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Helena's blood as collateral.
Oh, right. Cool. So in theory, we could do what we did the other night and kind of sneak in through that window and disarm in the warehouse and disarm that. And we do also have our very acrobatic friend now.
We have Sonia, yeah.
Yeah, we have Sonia, who seemed very enthusiastic about
we have-
committing crimes.
Which is wonderful. Well done.
Yeah.
And we have the bank.
Somebody raised
so we
that
could...
girl right.
Yeah.
Just what we need.
Yeah.
And yes. Okay. So. But yes, that's right. Admiral Razak does know most of our plans, in theory,
Yes.
because she.
Yes. I guess some of the potential bank heist plan was kind of constructed after that, so she maybe knows
Yeah.
less about that.
That's true. So we might want to change up the plan. Somehow? I don't know.
Well, let's see. They did. Razak kind of stole our memory before we talked with.
Sonia.
Yeah, but We had it in our minds that we were going to talk to them, didn't we?
Maybe.
So
Well,
I don't know.
Like I think that was like you were kind of in a like maybe we'll find someone at the circus
Okay.
that would be helpful with the bank heist mentality,
Okay.
but that was I think like kind of the extent of it.
Yeah.
And what's her name again? Is it Sonia?
Sanya.
Sa-
S-A-N-I-A.
Sonia.
Okay. So, okay. Maybe they don't know that we want to work with Sonia yet. So if we have Sonia, basically, if we have our new friends steal the dragons and we don't steal them and we're busy doing other things, maybe that would throw off the scent. Like if we did bank stuff and our friends did dragon stuff simultaneously, but our dragons would want to see us. So I don't know. I'm just trying to throw out ways to
No.
do the same plans but in a different way.
We also
Sorry. You see as kind of like a young messenger boy kind of like looks around holding an envelope. I'm looking for Helena Hallestrom, and Kajistoga Vanes, and Satus Incurtum, the last one with flawless pronunciation.
Yeah.
That is us?
Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Here.
Here you go, ma'am. And he will kind of like hand a envelope to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Here, Satus, why don't you read this since your name is rightest?
The messenger is still standing there.
You probably would like some money.
Yes, ma'am. That would be appropriate and nice.
Oh, sure. Helena pays him the appropriate amount of money.
Yeah.
It's I had to run quite a ways to deliver that letter, you know? Like
I would talk with who sent it.
Yeah.
They said that you were very wealthy people and that you would handle
Did they know?
payment.
And who sent you?
I am not at liberty to say, sir.
All right, we give him a
Yeah,
little more.
yeah. Here, have
Thank
a little
you.
more.
Bye.
Kid. Okay.
Zooms off.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
unscrolls. What
Yeah,
do we
yeah.
got?
Inside, so you open the envelope?
Yeah.
Inside in like beautifully calligraphed handwriting, it just says, "Tonight, come to the docks, a specific location. An important reminder of who the enemy is. Signed," and you see Razak's like handwriting with like a very elaborate like flowery R
Oh my
with
God.
like a seal of like the Solinese Navy.
What could she possibly want?
Did I say sunsets? Right? I did say.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Just make sure.
At sunset.
The most dramatic time.
She's so extra.
She is.
I hate
But yeah,
her so much.
But it is this place. It's pretty close to where her ship is docked, like kind of in the like fancy, rich / important people part of the docks. But it is sort of distinctly kind of like a local plaza there that overlooks the docks. It is, Cal, you would know that this is like distinctly neutral territory. It's like an open air.
Okay.
It is an exceptionally bad place for like an ambush.
Okay.
Yeah. So take that for what
But she
it's
can
worth.
ambush our minds.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems like we might
So-
have something to attend at the end of the day, unless we want to strategically time getting our dragons when Razak won't be at the warehouse.
Yeah, I mean, do we really want to go and meet her just to have her tell us how scary she is and read our minds again?
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
into it. So maybe we do as Satus suggests.
Maybe we do.
It would at least make the heisting element of getting our dragons back slightly less daunting, knowing that there's not a, evil mind reader there.
Yeah.
That's true. Or could we break into that bank vault at that time? Or work on that? Because that was part of what we're thinking of doing, maybe?
Right, I think we first need to go to the bank and establish an account with the funds.
yes.
that
Yeah, because we have this
Okay.
amount of money now. In order to do that, see what the bank is like.
Right,
Yeah,
like
I
right
definitely
now,
like that as
right now,
a-
I think that the biggest obstacle in the bank heisting plan is that it is what we know about the bank's security forces, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah.
Right.
So I
Yeah,
think
so-
first order of business this morning should be let's set up that,
Let's set up that.
dress in our fancy clothes from before, and
Yes.
go and see what the bank is like.
Yeah,
Right.
let's do it.
Great.
Be a nice chance
And
to.
then we'll
okay.
we'll figure out what we're gonna do about her invitation later.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Great.
right, sounds like we have a plan and we have a trajectory then.
Yeah.
Cool. Roughly
Right.
an hour later, you're in Sunstone Plaza, kind of like the fancy central, like, park / central square of Seldoran. And you're now headed to the sort of big, like, obsidian black embroidered with gold tower that rises 6 feet, right, 6 stories, excuse me, right next to the Halls of Revelation where you were yesterday. And you sort of see, like, emblazoned in, like, a big sign carved in stone over it, Tower of Coin. And as you enter, you are sort of, like, greeted by, like, the hustling and bustling central lobby of an enormous bank. Just kind of, like, people whistling to and fro, various tellers at various desks, people in line for certain transactions. You sort of see what looks like a proto-stock market exchange situation in, like, one of the corners of this lobby. How do you all look? Like, what is your getup like? And I think perhaps more germanely and pointedly, are you all yourselves? Or is Jeff the elf among you?
Is it a job for Jeff?
I think Satus at least would be himself, and he would try to make his evening gala suit look as like business casually as possible.
Roll me a performance check.
Alrighty. That would be a natural 20 plus 11 for a 31.
As they say, fucking nailed it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, like, as you, like, walk through, like, Sunstone Plaza, people are, like, turning their heads to look at you, just kind of like, shit, that is a sharp-dressed man. Like, holy
Yeah.
shit. You even see, like, a couple of, like, well-dressed people as you go by, take out, like, little pocket notebooks and, like, jot down a couple of quick
Yeah.
notes. Like, just, like,
Perfect.
the perfect walking of the tightrope between business casual and business.
Cool.
Nice. What do you guys think? Is this a job for Jeff or
I think it's up to you ultimately, but I might disintegrate if Jeff comes back right now.
Quick question, is that in character or is that out of character?
yeah.
It's in character too. I think Helena found that a lot. With respect. But maybe this is the perfect time. Who knows?
Jeff
Duly
might be
noted.
just the right amount of too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if things go bad, you can leave the room Mrs. Doubtfire style and come
Yeah.
back as Jeff.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's fair. So I think Cal is herself, but in her getup from last night, I think, yeah, including the kind of steampunky top hat with the goggles on it and stuff,
Okay.
and maybe as she's walking around outside, maybe she's wearing the goggles.
Okay.
And then puts them back on up top.
Cool, but like you're not really kind of like modifying it, you're just kind of like wearing it and owning it.
Yeah, just wearing it as it is.
All right, fair enough. Roll me just like a straight charisma check, Emma.
Okay. No. It's a natural one.
Whoa.
I do get +4 for charisma, but
So it might just
Maybe
be...
I should have been Jeff.
It might be time for Jeff after all.
So it might just be one of those things where, like, you know, you get ready, you look in the mirror, you're feeling good, and then, like, you walk downstairs and you see your friend who, like,
Yeah.
killed it, and all of a sudden you're just
Yeah.
kind of like, I am instantly very awkward and self-aware of
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
that I am doing. And so again, most people are kind of looking at Satus and not paying too much attention to Cal, but you are definitely, like, by the time, like, you get to the bank feeling, like, very self-conscious and kind of being like, what am I doing wearing these goggles? Like, you are not feeling
These
like
are
you're...
ridiculous. What was I thinking?
Yeah. Cool. All right, so we have one person with a natural 20, we have one person with a natural 1. What are we doing, Helena?
I think it's a toned down version of last night. Nice shirt, nice trousers, not cape. We're not overdressing this. I think because of Helena's aristocratic background,
Sure.
despite not having any money, she can pass for money quite well
easily.
usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, roll me a performance check with advantage.
10,
Okay, cool.
10, 10, 10, 10.
That would be perfect, wouldn't it? Get an 18.
All right, yeah, no, I think that you do kind of like a very, very, very effective, just kind of like anyone that looks at you would very quickly think, yep, there goes a wealthy foreigner sort of impression, and then you will be very quickly forgotten after that.
Fine.
So you make quite the troop as you enter the Tower of Coin, and a polite elf woman with silver hair. And what other immediately noticeable feature, Beth?
She has amazing eyebrows.
Oh, nice.
They're sort of beautifully shaped and groomed, and as we will discover, very articulate eyebrows.
Terrific. So she's got silver hair and these amazing silver, beautifully groomed, incredibly articulate eyebrows. And she will very quickly come up to the three of you and go, good morning, good morning, good morning. How may we help you today at the Tower of Coin?
Good morning. My colleagues and I are interested in opening an account, but we'd like to hear a little bit about what that entails, and what security you have here, that sort of thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, my pleasure. Here, come, walk this way, and she will kind of like settle you at like
lovely.
a little desk and get you 3 chairs. And she will kind of go, starting an account is the soul of simplicity here at the Tower of the Coin. We are in keeping with sort of the old Serenathi traditions, so it's very little asked. We would take your name, we would give you an account number, we would give you a key to your vault. Whoever has the key can access the vault. It is as simple as that. And so if you want, you can get 3 keys for 1 vault, or just like 1 key that will be shared among you. But the policy here is that if you have money, we will keep it here. We will take some very basic contact information just so that we can find you in case that we need to let you know anything. But really, it is as simple as we give you a vault, we give you a key. Whoever shows up bearing the key can access the vault.
Interesting.
With that...
Do you also... Sorry, go ahead.
With that said, security is absolutely stupendous. We have 2 levels of vaults. We kind of have our silver level security, and those are for vaults for accounts with under 1,000 gold. So anything that is holding 999 or less. And those are guarded day and night. They are warded against divination. They are warded against most forms of conjuration. They have expert personnel. But then, like, our lower level is really for accounts that have 1,000 gold or more. In those, we have anti-magic measures. We have kind of advanced security personnel down there. We have kind of a very, very robust alarm system. Those vaults can only be accessed in tandem with a key turned by one of our tellers. So there is no way that anyone would ever be able to access them without approval from someone working at the bank here. And the only way that somebody from the bank would give you access to them is if you had the right key. So it is the best in terms of offering foolproof security. And if you are keeping your gold with us in exchange for a very minimal fee, we offer full protection. If it has not happened in many, 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 many years, but God forbid something were to happen, some vaults were to be compromised. Again, I have literally no idea how it would happen, but for anyone down at that level, the bank offers one-to-one protection. After a very, cursory investigation to make sure that there was not any foul play involved by the holders of the bank account, we guarantee that money. That money is, consider it fully insured if you're with us. All the cost is a measly 75 gold a month, which for anyone that is keeping 1,000 plus gold with us is a trifle.
So you guarantee that money, so in the very unlikely event that something were to happen to it, you would cover it?
Yes, absolutely. If you are keeping 1,000 gold with us at that level, at kind of our gold level vaults, and that gold were to be taken, if you have 1,000 gold there, we give you 1,000 gold. We guarantee its safety.
And sorry to go over this, obviously we just want to sort of make sure we've understood. For the lower vaults, you say that a teller has to open those with a key rather than us having a key and opening it.
No, in both cases, you get a key to the vault. If you are at the silver level, so vaults that are under 1,000 gold, we just give you a key. You come in, you show us the key. One of the tellers will lead you down to our first sub-basement where those vaults are kept, and then you would be able to go to your vault and access it. For the lower level, for kind of our elite protection level, for that one, you also need a key that our tellers have. So a teller would need to go with you and specifically open the door.
Got it.
All right, noted.
Anybody have any questions?
Can I get
don't know that I have
anyone
any
any beverages, any snacks? We have these little cracker things with this really wonderful dip that you can just spread over it.
Sure.
That sounds great. Yeah, I love a cracker.
Terrific. Aruli, could we get the cracker plate? Please. A cracker plate quickly arrives along with 3 glasses of water.
How nice.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so what can we
very
do?
good cracker.
What else can we do for you? What other questions can I answer? How make I make all your dreams come true?
Well, I think we would be interested in the vaults of the gold status.
Terrific.
Could we, just have something just as if we were to be checking our vault? Can you just take us down as if we were coming in and just so we can just see what the procedure was like?
Oh yeah, totally. Are you opening an account with us today?
I think we are, yeah. I think what you've said sounds pretty great, so I see no reason why we wouldn't.
Okay, well, in that case, are you sure that you don't want to just get the paperwork taken care of, and that way, we can all go down, and you can leave your money there, instead of kind of, going down, I'll show you the vault, we'll come back up, you will, fill out paperwork, and then we'll have to go back down. I'll happily do whatever you want. If you want to take the grand tour, we can give you the grand tour. But, I'm just saying, it would be maybe simpler, maybe quicker.
I love tours.
Yeah.
Okay, no sweat off my back.
Look, let's do it. Let's do the tour first.
All right.
Paperwork second.
You got it. Aruli, can I have one of the gold keys? Please. And again, sort of his bedraggled assistant will quickly arrive holding a key, and she will kind of, show it to you guys and go, all right, I'm going to give this to you, miss. And she will give it to you, Helena. Hold on to it. I'm going to want that back before this is done. We still need to kind of, do a little bit of processing, but just for purposes of the tour. Come this way. And she will start to lead you towards the back of the room, where there is kind of this spiral staircase that goes both upwards and downwards. as you go, you see something that is so hard to avoid that I don't even need to make you roll perception checks for it. You kind of see, if you guys are walking towards the back of this sort of like big lobby, these two people are walking towards the front. One of them is just kind of this like very posh looking human. He's got sort of these like round spectacles, and has like a very spiffy suit. And what other thing that kind of makes you think like very posh things, Emma?
I think he's got like two streaks of silver hair.
All right.
Like I don't know why that's posh, but it looks very like well kept, you know.
Okay.
Almost purposeful, if you will.
And he is walking next to an ogre. But an ogre unlike any that you have seen before. This sort of like, he's very, very big. Like, he is kind of, you know, like a 10-foot tall ogre, and he kind of has like the dimensions of any ogre. But you've never seen an ogre dressed in what are very clearly custom tailored, like, smart clothes. And he is kind of squinting at this like oversized clipboard that very clearly somebody made for him as he like walks and talks with this human. And you just kind of like hear like, you know, the ogre just kind of going like, Tristan, I don't see enough to investigate. I don't know what you're saying. And the human is kind of going like, no, if you just look at this, you'll see that there's a couple of irregularities in the way that, and they'll walk past you and sort of like, you know, sort of like turn a corner and be gone. And the sort of silver-haired elf that you're with will kind of go, that's our manager, Mr. Ulger. He's really, really great.
Mr. Ulger?
Ulger. Ulger.
And was he the smaller one or the bigger one?
No, the bigger one.
Oh, okay.
All right, come this way. And she will kind of lead you to the spiral staircase and gesture towards the ones going down. And she will lead you down one floor and into what looks kind of like a very normal, like, bank vault system, like a room that is just kind of like hundreds and hundreds of like tiny like safety deposit boxes. And she will kind of gesture through like a barred door that like separates the staircase from the rest of the floor here. And she will kind of go, here are the vaults for our silver level accounts, but that's not what we're talking about with you guys. So let's go down one more.
Okay.
And she will lead you down another staircase, and this one like seems to go down like maybe 3 or 4 floors worth of steps before you arrive at like another barred door. And she will grab a key from her pocket and open the door, and it'll squeak through, and beyond that there will be this like very narrow sort of claustrophobic hallway. And she will go, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention this upstairs. Absolutely no, this is a safe zone, no judgments, but just so you all know, I gotta ask, is anybody wearing any magical cosmetics or anything that changes your appearance? Because this hallway is anti-magic, has anti-magic features, so if you are under any kind of illusion spell or anything, that's about to go away. So just so you all know.
I don't think that any of us are.
All right,
Clever
great.
touch.
All right,
Yes,
terrific.
Yes, indeed.
And she will lead you, all 3 of you through it. Quick perception check, everyone.
That would be a 19 plus 6 for a 25.
All right.
An 8.
How much, Emma? Sorry?
5.
Terrific.
Oh dear.
Helena and Cal, you don't notice this. Satus, as you are walking down this hallway, you glance at your guide, and you notice that her eyebrows look a lot less dramatic and fabulous as she is walking through this hallway.
Oh, cute.
Poor Becky.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
But you arrive at the end of the hallway, it opens up into this, like, big room that has immediately to your left a statue of a large being, sort of, a, like, very large humanoid holding a club, kind of like almost as if he's standing guard here. Roll me a quick nature check, everyone, please.
That is a 19.
All right. Mike with the
11.
hot dice.
They sure are.
9.
Satus, you know that this is a life-size statue of a stone giant.
Okay.
Like, real dimension statue of a stone giant.
Okay.
And the bank teller that you're with will just kind of, like, wave at it and kind of be like, just a little bit of dramatic flair. The management couldn't help themselves. And she will lead you to the end of this room where there is an archway for what looks like there should be a door here. But instead, it's just stone. And she will gesture to a panel on the side with 2 keyholes. And she will take a silver key from her neck and insert it into one of the keyholes. And then she'll turn to you, Helena, and go, and now your key.
So this is what we would do. You would do your key, and I would do my key. And
Exactly
okay.
right.
There we go.
All right.
just turn it,
We
shall
turn it at the same time. 3,
Okay.
2, 1, turn. And as you turn, you hear sort of from below and around you, and like the click of a lot of gears beginning to turn. And suddenly, the stone wall that is in that archway shifts and begins to move and rotate. And you kind of catch glimpses of bits and pieces of different doors that go by misaligned with the archway as this, like, what must be a gigantic cylinder of metal and stone and various other construction devices turn around until finally, after about a minute of shifting around, a, like, metal door is standing in front of you. And she will go, all right, now you take your key again, and you use it on that one.
Is this our door?
This will
Well,
be, if you open
theoretical.
an account, this might be your door. I will need to check which key we'll be giving you, but yes.
Okay.
And
Turning it.
All right, and she will open it to reveal a, like, modestly sized, but, like, for a bank vault, like, it would take, like, probably millions of gold coin to, like, fill up this space. And she will go, and here you are. They're generously sized, but yep, you would just kind of, like, come in. If you wanted to, we could set you up with, like, a little table or some sort of, like, chairs or something, or, like, some kind of, like, filing cabinet, whatever you want. We have, like, different options here. But yeah, that is it. Oh, and she will point toward the room is maybe about 8, maybe 9 feet tall. Like, the ceiling is kind of at, like, 9 or so feet. And she will point towards a series of runes running along the end of the wall, almost touching the ceiling. And she'll go, this is fun, this is fancy. It's a very particular kind of heat metal spell.
Ooh.
Whenever the door is closed, that spell activates, and it heats the walls and the floor of this room, but it's been specifically modified to only affect living creatures, nothing inanimate. So if again, through some bizarre miracle, you were able to make it through everything before this point and somehow penetrate a vault that was not your own and somehow just kind of, like, walk through a wall and get there, you would find an inhospitable space in here for anything that was not completely inanimate. Like, probably nothing could survive here for longer than a minute or so.
Sorry, but you said that happens when the door closes? How does it know not to do that now?
Because you turn the key to open the door, and the moment that, like, that turns it, it breaks the rune circle, with kind of like a fancy little device that is connected to the keyhole. But the moment that we close, so, yeah, I suppose that if you were being particularly macabre, you could bring someone down here, lock them in your vault, and then close it, and that would be a particularly horrible way to kill someone. I'd never actually thought about that.
Good grief, has that ever happened?
Not as far as I know.
Well, what a thought.
I know. Kind of dark.
But it seems unlikely you would get that far anyway because you would need the key in the first place. So
That's right.
it's always nice to have
Yes.
flourishes.
Exactly. The walls, the ceiling, the floor of the cell, on the other side of it, it's all lined with lead, which is a natural divination blocker, so nobody can use magic to determine what is inside your vault. Again, we have sort of like the anti-magic field coming into the space, so nobody would be able to kind of do magic through that. So, yeah, there we are.
Wonderful. It's very impressive.
Seems you really thought of everything.
We do our best. We do our best.
And in terms of withdrawing, is it open around the clock, or are there certain opening hours?
We are open from the 6th bell, usually kind of around... Basically, when the sun is in the sky, we are open, given a little bit of irregularity. 6th bell in the morning to 6th bell in the evening is kind of like the official times, but we might sort of like, be open a little bit sooner, open a little bit later. Yeah. It would, for some of our, like, absolutely most special, most premium clients, we might make an exception and offer after-hours services, but you would need to be keeping quite a bit more than 1,000 gold with us for something like that. You would need something in the order of, like, maybe 50,000 or 100,000.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe one day.
Exactly, right? Something to aspire to.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. Anyone have any questions that haven't already been answered by our fantastic guide?
Yes, this has been very educational.
Great.
Quite the facility.
Isn't it just, it's a beauty. All right, shall we go back
Yes,
upstairs and
quite.
fill out some paperwork?
Yes.
Sure, I think
not?
we're ready. Oh, just out of curiosity, are these vaults numbered somehow so we would know which one is ours?
That each vault is associated with your key. So
Oh, with the key,
Yes.
but it doesn't have but you just know, you have a system to know which one is which.
we in the bank have a system, but as far as the clients, in terms of like doing maintenance and doing like knowing what account is linked to what key and so on and so forth. But from an outwards perspective, it's your vault.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Thank you
I think-
for that.
I think, Kelly, when we put our key in, the door comes, so that allows us to find it.
Excellent. Yes.
As
I was just
understand.
wondering, if when we fill out paperwork, if it will say a specific vault number or something like that.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Good.
like, if you wanted to, we could just call this Vault Alpha. Yeah, that's
Well, that makes me feel very important.
that's right. Well, that's how we like to make everyone feel here at the Tower of the Coin.
Great customer service.
Terrific. Let's go fill out that paperwork. And she will kind of like turn her silver key, and the door to the vault will slam shut.
Got it.
It's the top of the hour. Why don't we take a 5-minute break, and then we can come
Okay.
back and see.
Come back to do
Adorable.
paperwork.
Yeah, that's right. And see what you want to do about that.
Okay.
We're gonna be right back,
right.
everyone.
Okay.